Hi, I'm Jesse Hilbert.
Hi, I'm Charlie Hubbard.
And welcome
to Arnavon
Adventures.
Adventure. This is Season 3, Episode 6, The Mating Part.
Today's arthropod can be found flying near a marsh or hovering over a stream. And Charlie, while they're in their larval stage, you'll only find them under the surface of the water. And then what do we always say?
Never stop.
No.
Sure. Check out the show notes and never stop learning.
Yes,
and thank you. Bye-bye.
No, it's not bye-bye.
This
is the beginning.
This is our quick episode. You're welcome. Bye-bye.
We say can.
You guess what it is. Goodbye.
Your mama, my wife, and she's the best, right? She's very loving, and she deals with all our stuff, and she listens to us all the time. And do you know why I chose this episode to dedicate to Mama?
She loves her. When the babies come out of this, it looks like a heart.
Charlie, you're 100% correct. It's not when the babies come out, though. So when the ebony jewel wing mates, and we'll get into a little bit of that too, they make this beautiful heart. And I thought, what better way to show love for the person who gives us love than that?
And it's like a rebel heart, and it looks so pretty.
It does. And people can always find pictures of that in
our podcast.
the show notes.
Yeah.
All right. So,
thank you so much for listening.
Yes, thank you. Always thank you for listening. All right. So the scientific name is Calopteryx maculata. And the genus Calopteryx is made up of two Greek words, kalos, meaning beautiful, and pteron, meaning wing. And Charlie, this couldn't be any more on the money with this damselfly, as their wings are gorgeous and shimmering in every way, right? And another reason I chose this species to dedicate my wife is because she's stunning too, right? Isn't Mama beautiful?
Yeah. Because she just loves us.
She does love us.
She just makes she makes everyone has dinner, and she makes everyone food and drinking, and she takes care of our whole family.
She does. She's the best. And now, Charlie.
She's the BFF.
Yes. The species name maculata comes from the Latin meaning spotted or blotchy. So we should probably talk a little bit, Char, about dragonflies and damselflies.
Because they are the coolest things.
Well, they are really cool, but they're different.
Yeah.
You know, they're different animals.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about that a little bit, okay? So a lot of people have never even heard the word damselfly before. They just think everything that flies and looks like that is a dragonfly, but that's not the case.
It could be a butterfly.
Well, no, it could be. Well, no, in this.
When I saw when I was camping, and I just ran to it and I went in it. It was so fun.
So, Charlie, both the dragonfly and the damselfly both belong to the order
of Hermapthera.
No, they don't belong to the order Hermapthera. They belong to the order Odonata.
Oh.
Say that one.
Odonata.
Odonata. And that comes from the Greek word for tooth, and it actually refers to their teeth-like structures on some of the insects in this order. Not real teeth, but teeth-like structures. And we're going to talk about the difference here. It really lies in the appearance. That's a good way to tell. Dragonflies are typically much larger than damselflies, and they have thicker bodies and a more robust body, while the damselfly is a little thinner, right?
Yeah.
And we can also look to their wings to check for identification. And I'm going to quote from an article here titled, "What's the Difference? Dragonfly versus Damselfly?" from reconnectwithnature.com. It states, and I quote, "Both dragonflies and damselflies have two sets of wings. but there are some distinct differences in their wings that can help differentiate between the two. Dragonflies have two sets of similar sized wings, but the hind wings become more broad at the base where they attach to the body. And damselfly wings, on the other hand, are more slender and taper towards the base where they attach to the body. So the wings tend to be a little bit larger on the dragonfly. And that's an end quote.
Can I already scroll up for you so you know?
You scrolled up for me, thank you. That's why I know what I'm reading. And I didn't realize that the wings, I guess I never looked that closely at the wings before to know that they were different.
Yeah, but if you look like this close, and then you'll see like, what is this?
Yeah.
And sometimes I had a book that was an arthropod book, but it was from like when I was 2, and I got it for my birthday, and so then
Uncle Stano and Becky always get good arthropod books.
and I got 2 arthropod books. Now that I have a butterfly book that looks like, if you look close to it, it like looks like it's not the right side of the other one because it looks like sparkles all over it.
Oh, okay. So, Charlie, we can also look at the way the wings sit when the dragonfly and damselfly are resting.
Yeah.
Dragonfly wings rest out horizontally across, like sticking
like
out.
Horizontal.
And
alligators are horizontal, and giraffes are
vertical. I guess you could say giraffes are vertical, as they are pretty tall. And damselfly wings rest folded vertically up over their body.
Vertical.
Mhm.
Vertical.
And the last spot we will look is at their eyes. And now, while both have very large eyes that are pretty iconic, and that take up most of their face, the damselflies are slightly smaller, and they have a little space between their eyes, whereas the dragonfly eyes are so big that they kind of like look like they're right next, like right on top of each other. So now, the ebony jewel wing is typically seen during the summer months and is about 2 to 3 inches long. Ready for this word, Charlie? Their body is iridescent green. Let's try that one.
Iridescent green
And
beans.
that kind of makes it stand
green
out.
Beans.
Well, not green beans, green, the color green.
Wait, sometimes you don't have to say Z.
Okay. And
Z.
so, Charlie, this iridescent green body makes it stand out no matter where you happen to find one. It's kind of like, I want to say shiny or metallic, but it's kind of even more than that. And honestly, depending on the light, it sometimes even appears like a bluish iridescent color. The males have jet black, almost shimmering wings, while the females have almost a translucent brown wings. And on the females, there's a white spot on the outer edge of their wing. And this is another example of sexual dimorphism, Charlie, when the males and females are different either based on their size, we talk about that sometimes with spiders, or colors. And in this case, it's a color one, right? Color dimorphism. And you can find this in the eastern half of the United States, reaching as far west as the beginning of Texas and reaching north into Canada.
And
Now, do you know where I encounter a lot of these? In the summertime at camp. There's always a lot there. And
so Mig.
You're trying to read the words on the show notes?
The Mig.
So, Charlie, we will get into that momentarily about the nice shaded stream where I find them, because their larval stage is spent underwater so that they are almost always found near a water source. Now, I spoke about in my dedication, but the mating of this species produces a beautiful heart-shaped wheel. The act itself may not be as beautiful. The University of Florida's featured creature article came in clutch again, as they always do, authored by Alfred Runkel IV and Nathan Burkett Cadena. They gave a great description.
The body is great.
It does actually say the body right there. That's good decoding there. So they gave a great description for the start of the mating ritual, and I quote, "Males attempt to attract females by performing a cross display. This display is performed by facing the females and turning the hind wings downward while keeping them perpendicular to the body, then raising the forewings and abdomen, revealing a pale area on the underside of the abdomen. End quote.
It's like Ariel popped out of the water. Or I was gonna tell you something. Or even check out the show notes.
We don't say that till the end. It's not about you. So, Charlie,
This is
once the ritual is over and the female has accepted, although
accepted.
not
Like,
always the
accept-
case, the male will use the end of his abdomen. Oh yeah, excuse you. So the male will use the end of his abdomen to clasp onto the back of the head of the female. So she is not always very willing to comply.
Come on.
But if she is, then she will lift up her own abdomen to the very beginning of where because this is where he has left his genetic material for pickup. And what I just described produces this, what shape, Charlie?
Heart?
A heart shape. They call it a mating
Or
wheel.
you could do one like this.
Yeah, you could make a heart like that with your hands.
Or you could do it like
Yeah, there's a lot of different ways
you
to do
could
it.
do one day, you could do it like that.
Sure. Okay. So then the female will lay her eggs just under the water's surface onto some type of plant material. Her eggs will number in the hundreds over the course of her life.
When you get to 100, you get 100 people, and then you have to go around 100, and then you have to write your name.
So they are voracious predators, okay? They're really good at eating things. But once they are hatched, they're not immune to being eaten themselves. The larvae are known as naiads and look like
And 6?
a lot. What?
It says
That's number 6. Yes, you're decoding great.
6.
Like a lot of insects, they look nothing like their adult form. So this is what the
And
crazy.
it says 6?
So Charlie, what I think is crazy is the larval stage.
This is
The larval stage of a dragonfly looks nothing like the adult dragonfly.
And it looks like nothing in the world. It just looks all tan with just butterflies on it.
It does not look anything like that. But I'm going to tell you what the naiads look like now, okay? They have slender brown bodies, 6 long legs that are also brown with a stripe of white. At the back end of their abdomen, there are 3 gills that kind of look like frilled feathers. They use their impressive mouth parts to hunt in the waters. They send out the lower portion of their jaw, and this is called a mask. And yeah, good job.
And it says episodes. Well, our next episode will be. This is season 3, episode 3.
Oh, this is episode 6. The next one will be episode 7.
Why does that one have a 3?
Well, because we talked about how they have the 3 gills at the back end.
Oh.
So they send out this mass, the lower part of their jaw, and once their prey has been obtained, they use this kind of like a spear jabbing into it. They bring it in and they eat it. Yes.
And it could also be like a slime. And then a bee could go down. I mean, a heart could go down it, and then it could fly up, and then the stairs fall down, and then the butterflies, and then
I have no idea what you're saying, but I love you. So, when they do all this, they feed on a variety of aquatic insects, from worms and even small fish and tadpoles. The nymphs will go through over a dozen molts before it is ready to pupate into adulthood. Pupa, that's a funny word. Once it is ready, it will often climb out of the water onto a nearby plant.
It's like
Yeah. And then, like an emerged butterfly, the damselfly's wings are not ready for flight once it comes out, and it must go through. It must go. I did not write this very well. And it must.
You wrote this on your phone? What did you?
Well, I wrote it on my computer, and then I'm reading it from my phone, so I know what I'm saying. I can't memorize all of this.
And then it says.
So they can't fly yet because they need to wait for the hemolymph or the insect blood to get into their wings so that they're ready for flight. Well, insects don't have blood like we do, because they don't have all the veins and all that kind of stuff that we do.
go down.
So the insect blood, I guess we can call it, is the hemolymph.
Red one.
It's not red. It's a different kind of fluid. And once their wings have hardened, they are good to go and can begin life as an adult, which unfortunately only lasts a few weeks.
Oh no, that's not good.
As an adult, they feed on smaller insects that they can swoop down upon and catch airily.
Yeah.
Charlie, it's crazy that dragonflies catch food, or damselflies
Or they
in this
could
case,
eat.
catch food from the air.
Can they eat any butterflies or bees or bees?
I mean, they can eat pretty much whatever they can get their hands on, although our damselfly is a little smaller than some of the dragonflies that we find around here. The dragonflies probably eat bigger things.
Are we doing the heart dragon or are we doing the heart
Damselfly. It's a damselfly that makes the mating heartbeat. Now, Charlie, they are truly beautiful, amazing creatures in every form of their life cycle, and a wonder to get to watch as well. I actually got to see the mating wheel in action this past summer at Sleeping Giant.
What's Sleeping Giant?
It's a place you go hiking. I don't think we've ever been there.
I think I've been.
Okay. So, the next time you see that shimmering, iridescent damselfly down by the stream, bask in all its glory and enjoy your time with it. And I have been able to even gently reach my hand under one of them resting on a leaf, and they're very gentle and will climb onto your fingers.
Or like Daddy Long's. We should do an episode that like Daddy Long.
Okay. Now, Charlie, we're going to say one last big thank you to my beautiful, smart, hard-working wife and your mama.
Mommy, you said thank you so much. She said
She gives us so much support here at Arthropod Adventures that we couldn't do anything without her, and we love you. Say I love you.
Love you.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you have an arthropod you would love to hear about, want to tell us what you think about the show, found a mistake, or simply want to say something, send us an email at arthropodadventurespodcast@gmail.com. You can follow us on Instagram at arthropod_adventures_podcast. And tell people always check out the show notes
and never stop learning.
Stay inquisitive
And never
stop learning.